Good evening, everyone. It's that magic day. It's the 6th of September. And what day is it, Mr. B?
Oh, you know, it's Friday, the best day of the week.
It is the best day of the week. And we haven't got Manchester United to ruin our weekend. They've already done it.
No, but see, the thing is, bath time with it. Before the weekend comes, it's all right. It's after the game where it's ruined. Before we're in, we're excited. We're in a good, happy mood. You know what I mean? And then obviously they come and slap us in our face. But look, it's what they do. We should be used to it by now. It just seems that we're not.
I know, and you were so excited for the Liverpool game as well.
Oh God, I know. I don't know where the excitement came from, but I don't know if it was the.
It was McTominay leaving, wasn't it? You felt that like the darkness had been lifted from Old Trafford.
I was buzzing for all the wrong reasons, man. Oh my God. Yeah, look, let's be honest. Maybe it wasn't the brightest idea to think that we were going to beat Liverpool, especially 3-1, which my prediction was. I didn't even go and do with a draw. But look, it is what it is, isn't it?
Look, you don't be a football fan to be logical or reasonable or think things through. It's all about hope. It's the lead up to a game is always better than the game because you're so excited and stuff. So I always think it's really unfair when people bang on about predictions and things. You want your team to win. You delude yourself into thinking, do you know what?
We're good.
Yeah, do you know what? I can see something happening. So I never make fun of people who predict that kind of stuff. People I do make fun of, though, are people in the chat. So let's see who we've got this evening. DK Wilson. Mr. B, where is DK Wilson from this evening?
Oh, I did actually.
Globetrotters?
Yeah, Harlem. Yeah.
Oh, damn. He's from Harlem. Richard Herbert, I assume, is he from Somerset or something? Is he Anthony's brother?
Yeah, he's Anthony's brother. The logical one. He's the United supporter in the family.
Okay. Well, big up, Richard. Always like to have you here. We got Matty Bassett. Big up, everyone. All right. Andrew is a loser. Good evening. Let's have a good stream. Andrew, change your name back. Can you imagine if you're coming into this chat, right, for the first time and you discover Andrew is a loser and then he starts calling you a delusional moron or whatever it is that you get up to. And here we go. It's Gavin. Big G. Evening, sausage pots. Didn't know you could have a sausage pot. And we've also got Simon Warner. Good evening to you. Darius, are you the vinegar to Mr. B's chips? I'm a huge fan of vinegar, so I'm happy to take that on.
To be fair, I only have it on fish and chips. I won't touch it. I don't know if there's any. Is there any other uses for vinegar?
I like it with a bit of olive oil and bread.
Oh shit! No, that's too simple for me, man.
It's too simple.
Olive oil.
I eat peasant food.
I didn't hear. You didn't hear those words come out. All I said was, "That's
too simple. You need more complex carbohydrates.
Yeah, put some peanut butter on it, and we're good to go with it.
Oh, I do like peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's one that I will remember. We deserve better. Thank you very much. Who else? Obviously, we got Steph. Another long shift of supporting Manchester United channels, Steph. We appreciate it so much. And that's it. That is the cast of the start of tonight's show. So we've got a couple of things to talk about tonight, Mr. B. But it's not a PowerPoint show. It's more of a discussion. First thing that has come out today is Tuchel was this close, and I've got both fingers very close together, indicating this close, to taking the United job in the summer. We can speculate why he didn't take it, but do you think this is important that someone nearly took a job with us?
His name was probably the one that was out there the most. It was obvious what they were doing. it wasn't sort of hidden. Nothing was denied. I mean, the shock was that they didn't sack Ten Hag.
Yeah.
So maybe they were as close as your hands were on the screen there. Maybe they were that close, but at the end of the day, he didn't get the job, and whether he turned it down or not, Ten Hag is still here, rightly or wrongly, for whatever the reasons were, he's still here. I mean, look, if he was that close before, maybe it won't take too much convincing if that's who they really, really want to come in if the shit hits the fan. My issue with it is if they had brought Tuchel in, would they have brought Rude in? Would they have brought Hacker in? Would they have brought in the new guy that they brought in yesterday? I've completely forgotten his bloody name. Would these changes still have been made? Because Tuchel seems to be more his own man and very strong-willed in regards to what he probably feels he should be walking into the club with.
Yeah, I think you've raised some really, really good points here, because so we know that Tuchel went to Ratcliffe's boat. They had jacuzzis together. They discussed it. It looked like a kind of done deal. And what the newspapers told us is that it fell apart because Tuchel wasn't too keen on having a structure above him, certainly about signings. Like he wanted to, sign his own players, and that's kind of where it fell apart. But this is something I really, really agree with. It's because we've gone mega Dutch, and we've got Hake and we've got Rude, and the recent appointments. Can we kick Ten Hag out and get another guy to come in and work with them? It doesn't make sense to give Ten Hag all these people, and then after 6-7 games, get rid of him. And it seemed like a kind of a move to give. I mean, like, look, the club have given Ten Hag pretty much everything he wants except for like a hair transplant or something. So surely that means that it's a long-term thing. Like, regardless of the results, that they're going to stick with Ten Hag, certainly for a season and maybe longer, because they've built a dressing room around him.
Yeah, that's more what I think. They've done a lot to not even to accommodate him, but to let him be free just to coach. And that's the part that I'm just not sure what would have happened if Tuchel had come in. You said it already. I'm not saying he's ignorant. I'm not going to say he's a troublemaker, but he's very strong-willed. I'll say strong-willed in what he wants, and I think the club have their idea of what the whole sort of.
Do you think I don't want to call Ten Hag a yes man, but more of a kind of company man is who they want as a manager?
Yeah, because Ten Hag, Tuchel, you saw what it was like at Chelsea. You saw what it was like at Bayern. And do we really need another Jose 1.0 coming in, or 0.5, because he could never be as bad as Jose was?
Well, I'll come back to that after I've gone through the some of the comments. Andrew is asking me what my thoughts are on us being linked with Angel Gomez. I think Yabba's really the man you want to talk about, as Angel Gomez, he acts like it's his son with how much he loves that player. As you know, Andrew, physicality is a huge part of like the profile of player that I like. However, he was really good in the Euros, like the under-21s. Him and Anthony Gordon were fantastic. And if you're good at under-21 football, in a couple of years, you expect to be good at senior, like the real cutting end of senior football. So I wouldn't be against it. Actually, the only thing that I have in question about him is, I don't know if you remember this, Mr. B, but he got an injury and he went to some sort of like faith healing clinic. And I don't think that that's what a professional footballer should be doing, like a gospel church or something.
I saw it on, I don't know if it was a Twitter but I saw it and I thought it was a wind up, so I just let it go. I just thought it was a bullshit one. So I just let it go. But now you're saying it, I do remember him going on and preaching about him being an ex-Man United player and something about the injuries of something like that. Was that the one?
Yeah, that's the one. And it's Glasgow Rangers Football Club many years ago had a devout Christian. I think might have been called Marvin Andrews. He was a centre back. He was from Jamaica. He was he was just powerful and big, really good. He did his cruciate ligament, and he went to church and came back and said he'd been healed and carried on playing. And there didn't seem to be any problems with doing that. And men of faith, yeah, like honestly, like
So how long was he out for?
Like a month.
With a what? With an Achilles?
Cruciate.
With cruciate?
Yeah, cruciate knee injury. Someone in chat will be able to find this, but he refused an operation and he went to like a healing church instead, and then claimed he'd been healed. And I have nothing against men of faith, but that is wildly irresponsible for a football club to allow faith healing over medical healing.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure. I mean, if he says he's healed, I'm sure they would have done their tests and stuff. No.
Yeah, I mean, I can't recall all the details. I'm sure Bart or Andrew or someone will be able to find it out for me. But that's my only real issue with Angel Gomez is the fact that he went to a church to heal himself, and I think that can lead to problems down the line.
With what?
Professionalism, like looking after yourself, doing rehabilitation.
As long as he's bloody playing, mate. I don't know. I'm sure these professional footballers do a lot worse. That doesn't come to light.
I mean, to be honest, I will send like Malacia to any church in the world. Like, I'll do anything to get that boy. Homeotherapy, like anything. All right, and Richard is saying he's Anthony's brother, Man United fan, and he's also better looking too.
It's not too hard to be better looking than Anthony.
Nice. We deserve better is asking jacuzzis together. What? Yes, that's obviously a figment of my perverted imagination. But they did go onto Ratcliffe's yacht for 2 or 3 days to hammer out a deal, and it fell apart. Reportedly, it fell apart over control of transfers and maybe appointments and so on. He might have not wanted Barada over his shoulder. No one wants Dan Ashworth, that creepy little goblin, like sort of scuttling about. And here's a man who never scuttles. It's Vincent Bullock. How are you, Vincent? I hope you're well. I would rather have Thomas the Tank Engine than Termal Tuchel.
Does it well in?
DK Wilson. Why do people think Erik ten Hag got everything he wants? Now, I said this, Mr. B. I don't know if you did, but what would you say to that?
I think he did. I mean, what more could you have got with him? I think I would like to think he got everything he got. Maybe Ugarte sounds like there was maybe he needed a bit of convincing in regards to bring him into the club. But knowing that year before that you spunked all of that money on Anthony, he's lucky that he got any backing at all, to be fair.
Well, I think for me, it's been reported a lot that Ten Hag and Hake are extremely close. So he's got one Dutch guy coming in that he knows to help him with his structure. He's got Ruud coming in, who's Dutch, which I think is catering for Erik ten Hag. Like Ruud, Jabba's not here, but Ruud has to be our best Dutch player ever, surely. Yeah. And I know I'm missing someone. Yep, Stam.
Would you put Stam over Van Nistelrooy?
Yes. Just off trophies and things won.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
And
I'm still having Van Nistelrooy though. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean the thing is Ruud's probably held with a bit more affection, but I love the Yip Yap song, so I have more affection for Ruud. But okay, so for Yap, so he's had those, but also he's had De Ligt, Mazraoui come in, 2 players that he's managed. That feels that it's catering for him. The only thing, to be honest, that he's complained about since Ineos took over is he'd like to have kept Scott McTominay. I think that's literally the only thing that he kind of hasn't got.
How did I know you would have brought something? You would have brought that up.
Well, because he had they said, let's get Ugarte in Ineos. It's been well reported by Laurie Whitwell and people that Ten Hag wasn't up for it, but they did a DNA test and found out that Ugarte had links to Holland, and he was like, "Hot damn, I'll take him." But he wanted to keep McTominay, and I'm sure you would understand why Erik Ten Hag in particular would want McTominay in his squad.
Kept him in a job, yeah. Saved his ass.
So that's why, DK. Sorry, but East tactics are dog shit. Plus, he's deluded when the media challenge him. He is having a lot of. Do you remember Rafa when he had his 100-point list or something that he got
Facts. Yeah.
Ten Hag feels a little bit like that because I quite like since the FA Cup final he's been really sassy with people, but I think you're opening yourself up to ridicule when you ask a journalist of the quality of Ladybird or whatever he's called, who's been in British football for 40 years, what problems? You tell me.
When he told him, I mean, I'm not sure Ten Hag expected him to reel off like bang. He went bang, then he went bang, 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 bang. Until all the shots were fired, you know what I mean? And Ten Hag was like, "Oh shit, is that what he said?"
Well, I mean, it's very similar to. Have you seen Mike Bassett, Football Manager?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Right, so it's about an England manager, and it's a comedy. And he starts arguing with fans, going, "Well, what would you do?" And then the fans give brilliant analysis and formations and things, and he goes, "Right, yeah, okay, shut up." And it felt very similar to that. And then Richard is saying, I think it's not just Ten Hag. The players have got to take some responsibility to pull their socks up, but it does come back to the manager. I'll give him this season and see. So you can see that Richard is really nailing his colours to the entire mast of the whole fleet. And DK saying, Tuchel got run laughed out of Chelsea. I'm not so sure about that. I think that was Tuchel.
He wasn't run out of Chelsea. I just think that those Bowley, he was never Bowley's man, and Bowley was just waiting.
Thing.
Yeah, he was waiting for that excuse. I mean, to flip it, it's the same kind of predicament that we're in.
Yeah,
our club, we've just decided to keep him, but Bowley seems to be a bit of a nut job anyway. So maybe him being in there on his own is a little bit worse because it sounds like there's a whole load of chaos happening down there internally anyway. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Chelsea they've taken our crown as the worst run club in world football, I think now. And I wouldn't really judge Tuchel on being run out of Chelsea. I don't know what happened at Bayern and PSG, but maybe those are better clubs to look at. And we said better saying this Gomez story has been created just to promote England. So I think he's saying they just need column inches.
It could be right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also because he's an ex-player that we left go for free. I think that there's something in it there. Like,
getting back for a free is no issue then, really, is it? He's done his apprenticeship. You know, he'll come back a better, stronger, more mature, more
like a mega player.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, the thing is that I don't think maybe Greenwood, but Greenwood is an exceptional circumstances. There haven't been a lot of United players that we've let go that have gone on to do huge things in world football. Like, I mean, Diego Forlan is the one that comes to mind. Maybe I think Giuseppe Rossi had quite a good career as well.
Pogba?
But
you give Pogba
what, getting 2-year ban? Oh, do you mean what he did at Juve the first time?
Yeah, I'm talking about what he did with Juve at the first. Got nothing to do with bad. I'm talking.
Yeah, I think
that plays.
Yeah, I think that's the worst one, isn't it? Like letting Pogba go is the worst one. But we don't talk about like Michael Keane in the same way and things like that. So maybe that's why it's a bit of a kind of negative story on United because that always sells. I've got subvids saying Mr. B's camera looks better.
Oh, it's the same camera.
Okay, it's just plugged in. And we've got look who it is. It's Grace Sheridan. I hope you're doing well, Grace. It's been
Good
a long
evening.
time. Yeah. Right, Steph. My definition of full manager backing is allowing the current manager to do everything he doesn't want that he inherited. I don't think we are there yet. Still a few more to go. Who is he inherited that he wants to get rid of?
Not now. I think Lindelof Maguire.
I think he likes Maguire. Do you think he wants?
He wanted to get rid of him. All right, maybe he's learned to respect him.
Yeah,
because he would have let him go at the beginning of last season. So I'm not going to say he likes Maguire, but maybe he respects him.
I think he probably sees. I think he probably sees the usefulness of Maguire, but would like the money. All right, Vincent. Just to let you know, tomorrow's game against Celtic Legends, parking will be affected around the area due to Media City is having some work done. So over the river at the BBC. So anyone who's going to that game, enjoy. If Tuchel didn't want people over his shoulder making decisions, why do people keep saying Ten Hag is getting everything he wants? Thought that was over with the new backroom hires. Well, it's because, I don't want to labour the point, DK, but it's because staff and players from Holland have been appointed by the club. And it feels that Ten Hag would have been consulted on these. He must have been. And we're giving him people that he knows and has worked with. So that's why I think people are saying we're giving him everything that he wants. Here's a good one from Big G. I forgot. Van der Sar as Dutch.
Shit. Yeah.
God.
I still got to go with the forward. That's all. I forgot about him. Somebody put Danny Blind in as well. He wasn't really too bad for us. I'm not going to say he was the best. Van Persie's one season.
Yeah. Jordi Cruyff.
Oh, no.
Danny Blind?
Danny Blind was okay. Danny Blind would probably make an A-list. But Jordi Cruyff would be way at the bottom of any list that comes in at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other Dutch players, but I can't.
Somebody put Arnold Muren in.
Who?
Arnold Muren. He was our first Dutch player. Where's he gone?
Arnold Muren. I don't know who that.
Yes. I said that's before. Yeah, that's before. I just said that's before. I said it's a generational thing. That's the good thing about football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. That's all right.
Van der Sar, Nilstroy, Stam. That would be my three. Now, earlier on, Steph said something here about removing players. Okay, so our next story is that we finished with we finished with whatever we were talking about. I've honestly forgotten. What were we talking about?
It's good.
Ten Hag.
We just keep on talking.
Yeah. God, that is proper brain damage. That. Our next story is Casemiro and Eriksen. Both are being planned to depart this summer with a new midfield coming in, and I think that nothing screams poor recruitment like the two players that we got to rebuild the midfield when Ten Hag came in, which was Casemiro and Eriksen. Those were his two midfield signings, are now being jettisoned to get younger players in. Mr. B, is this good news because it's a new direction for the club? And what are you thinking in terms of what type of player would you like to come in?
I think it's obvious it needed to be done. Casemiro's legs are going, and I really think Eriksen's legs have gone. I mean, today he said he wants more game time. He's demanding more game time. They always seem to run him. Yeah, I see it, and just before I came on the show, he's demanding more game time.
Is he wrong, though?
No. What he should have done then, by the time he's fucking left.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? Okay, I understand what you mean about that, but when you go and you see the performance that have been put out by the players, is he wrong to say? I should be given a chance to come
Has he done any better? Has he done any better when he's played?
Up until the Andy Carroll injury, I would say yes.
Yeah, so would I, to be fair. All right, so post Andy Carroll, since he's come back, he hasn't been. And you've got to see these managers see these players in training, and
Yeah.
it's not just Ten Hag's eyes on him. You know, maybe if he was a bit biased, he's now got he's now got other voices in his ear. So the fact that he's still not playing and he's only getting minimal minutes, it'd be interesting to see the Barnsley game and see how he plays in that if he wants to play more. And obviously the Europa. I think that the lesser games maybe further down the line once we've qualified, which we will be doing early, then he might get those games to play in. And if he proves himself, then fine, he might get the Premier League games. But he's football's about getting about the pitch, and he doesn't get around the pitch enough. On the ball is fine, that's great. But when you've got people, 10, 15 yards away from you that you can't catch or you can see, Casemiro, all right, he's late with he's done, but at least he makes it. It's not in Eriksen. Eriksen doesn't have it.
Wow. I was just wondering if you've changed from saying that players have got to run about a bit, because you used to hate effort merchants and passion
No,
merchants.
it's not that.
But
No,
you made a really good point.
Yeah, runner. I mean, Eriksen's technique is you can't deny on the ball. But it's not a five-a-side pitch.
Yeah.
So that's more my issue. And the team, all right, if we had built the team around Eriksen, you've got runners around him and you find him like the center of the spider web, fine. We're not building like that. He's one part. He's one part of the big machine, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
he needs to be quick around the pitch. And the fact that they're playing with Rice Pudding Casemiro as well, it wouldn't help, And look at two of them they bought. Jesus Christ.
I know. And look, speaking about this, my rampant narcissism has been dented here because Elite Boiler has popped in and has said hello to Stephanie and Big G, but not to us. So we'll start. Hello, Elite Baller. If you are an Elite Baller, let us know your thoughts on Eriksen, because I have two issues with Eriksen, and I'm going to start off by saying I really, really like the player. I loved him at Tottenham Hotspur. I thought he was fantastic, but I think his best position is in Bruno's role, and that is always a problem. And the second thing is that in my sort of mental checklist for midfielders, there's a couple of things you've got to do before you can be considered to come on the football pitch. And you've got to be able to win individual duels, you've got to be able to run, and you've got to be able to cover space. Like that, those are like the minimum for anyone. So like you could get Luka Modric on the pitch, but if you can't do those things, it becomes a bit of a liability in the Premier League. And Eriksen, he's just another player, a bit similar to one of my great loves, Juan Mata, who I think that a team needs to be set up around him to get the best out of him. And we can't offer that to Eriksen. And whenever we play him, we seem to like playing him deep, like in front of the block. And he was the guy that got eaten alive at Brentford like a couple of years ago when they beat us 4-0. And he doesn't have the power to recover with the spaces we leave open. Yeah. And I think it is a terrible piece of recruitment in the end.
It may well have been, but you got to understand it. He was a free.
Yeah, but he's still expensive because
I understand he's expensive, but I just think when players of that quality, maybe, I think you do try. I didn't have an issue with us signing him, to be fair.
No, I mean my only issue, and I don't want to be facetious, is there were question marks about his health. Because
okay, I hear that.
He died, he came back to life, he went to Ajax, he came to us, and praise the Lord, praise any deity, Thor, I don't mind. But he didn't, nothing's gone wrong with him. So that is the first thing. But I think that it's a bit damning, right, of Ten Hag that the two players he brought in as his first signings to fix the midfield. You think back, everyone seemed to hate McFred at the time. And now that they've both departed, they've kind of grown in ability and affection because you don't see them.
Not for me. Not for me.
No, but I'm sure you wish them well because
of course I do. Any player that leaves Man United, there is a few that maybe you do wish would go to hell, but the majority of them, I don't wish them any ill will. I would rather they just leave when we want them to go and don't try and ask for money. But I get I get it.
They were good boys though. Like they were good. They were good boys for the club. They were like, they might not have had the footballing subtleties.
They loved Man United.
Yeah, and they played like they loved them. Similar to like Ander Herrera or someone like that, who I think we all like Herrera because he got United.
Yeah, he
and
did.
Fred got United. And McTominay kind of was United. So, but we got these two players in, and I'm wondering what kind of players we're going to get next, because I still think we'd really missed out on Amadou Onana. Like, I think it's shocking we let him go to a top 4 rival for 50 million.
For 50 mil.
Yeah.
But were we ever in for no bath time?
We were with like an hour to go or something. I think we made a call. Like that, it was reported that United tried to get in on the deal late, but Amadou had given his word. Sorry.
Fair enough.
So I like that as a character. But I think that like we should have
pushed for.
I think we should have got that guy.
They're gonna want somebody tall for a start. I think they're gonna try and increase the height of the team, and they're gonna want somebody athletic bath time, somebody who can get around the pitch. This is more to replace. Well, I'm more thinking to replace Casemiro, but maybe we've got Agata in to do that. The Eriksen one is a weird one because are we gonna replace Eriksen's foot? Are we gonna? You see Eriksen as a 10. I see Eriksen as a 10. Are we going to be replacing him with another 10? No. Because he's not going to play. So then, are we then looking for a Mainu, or are we looking for a player who can carry the ball up the pitch like our old school? What's that Tottenham guy? Dembele.
Dembele, one of the best midfielders ever in the Premier League.
You never take the ball off him. Cunha is probably what I saw against us last season in regards to him carrying the ball. Would that be the sort of midfielder that we would be looking for?
Well, I mean, in our game model, which is a fancy way of saying styles of play, carrying is, so when you carry a football, you do it mainly because you've got a numerical advantage, and a player, if he comes out to you, you're just going to slip someone through.
Yeah.
Okay, so we like that, and I just say anyone who, I'd just like to know in the comments if they rate Moussa Dembele, because I've genuinely always thought that he is the most underrated midfielder I've seen in the Premier League. He was
all them Tottenham boys loved him. The managers all loved him, but his knees went, or his ankles went when they ended up getting rid of him. But he's stunning. What's that?
And we've got 12 likes with 15 people watching. I know it's a Friday, so thank you very much for joining us. Like, really appreciate it. And we're going to have, just after we wrap this up, we're going to have a much more interactive segment. So get ready. I'm really hoping that this is a good one for you lot in the chat. But I think, Mr. B, that with like highlights, okay, one of the most important things you want in a midfielder is the ability to recover space. And you do that in 2 ways. One is running back, and the other one is delaying people, right? So that other people can run back. I think that when you look at the way Gravenberch played against us, that's the type of player that they want to bring in, a physical player with good height who can win duels, but most importantly, he can just run up and down all game, because there's so much space behind when you're playing in a high line. And you need people that can recover that space and can sort it out. And United have one of the most unathletic midfields in the Premier League with Kobe, Casemiro, and Bruno. There's no long distance running power. They're not, like obviously Kobe is a fantastic footballer, but he's not an athlete yet. And I think that Ugarte is going to be the guy that is more of an athlete, and he's going to be a bit of a whizzer, like accelerating quickly, getting around the pitch, all ankles and elbows and things. But I think that we need stronger runners in our midfield, certainly for the way that Ten Hag plays. With all that
we definitely need one. I think one of those replacements will definitely be a runner, but the other one may well be down to what they feel the squad.
Well, number 6,
yeah.
I mean, like Zubimendi, for example, would have been great. Like a sort of
so even with the style that, because everybody was saying, oh, he was more suited to Liverpool's style than Man United's style of play.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that he's a good player. That's the key thing. Is the reason he's good is he's secure on the ball, and in the centre of our pitch, as we saw with Casemiro the other day, we're set up in such a kamikaze style that if you lose the ball in the centre of the pitch, Onana's facing a shot, and Onana doesn't save a lot of shots, to be honest. So you need somebody.
You say that, but he had the highest save percentage last season. All right, he had the most shots to be fair, so maybe that's why it was so high. But he did make a few saves just last season.
Look, I'm not happy with Onana at the moment. And he'd be someone I'd be looking to move on.
He cost us He cost us Champions League qualification last season. I'm never going to forget that.
Yeah,
he fucked up in every single game.
We nearly beat Bayern at Bayern. Like, I think Casemiro scored twice, didn't he? And then Onana was just throwing the ball into his net. It looked like match fixing. It was that bad. But so I think a player like Zubimendi is pretty good because he gives you security in the middle of the pitch and he understands rhythm and tempo, where sometimes you do need to dig in and you do need to sort of pass it about and make the other team run around a bit and kind of take the sting out of the game. And taking the sting out of the game, to me, what this means is you're playing secure and safe, but you're making the other team work whilst you're having a bit of a rest. Right. And so he's got the technical quality to do that. And I think that that's really important to have in the squad because we can knock it about at the back a little bit, but we've never really sort of knocked it about in the midfield, just going from side to side.
Yeah. And that's where you want it.
Yeah.
That's where you really want it, or have that control in their half. I mean, you see Man City, you see Arsenal, their defenders are in the opposition's like third. We talk about centre-back sitting on the halfway line and, and to the edge of the... So, yeah, they can be controlled, but I don't know if our players...
you want it controlled in the midfield, basically, for one reason, is that if it goes wrong, you've got 3 players behind to help you sort that situation out. Whereas if you're doing it at the back and someone makes a mistake, like, for example, Kobe Minu against West Ham last year, he went in the middle of, he went in between 2 players, like 2 centre-backs to make a back 3. He got past the ball. It happens in football. He slipped and they're straight in. Like, so you want to do it in the midfield so that if there is a mistake, you've got your rest defence there to kind of help you out. But in terms of the runner, who are you thinking of in the Premier League? Is it Cunha? I think you mentioned earlier at Wolves. Yeah,
as a ball carrier, he was the one who I've seen, obviously more because I watched him. I've seen him watched him play against us, and just thought, Jesus Christ, we don't have anybody like that in our team. And look at the chaos that he's causing. So it's always been sort of Cunha, that model of player. I don't know anybody else, to be fair, who would do that role, who could play like that. But that's what comes to my mind when I think about a ball carrying player.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty. He's a good player. He's strong. He's physical. He's available a lot. Like, you're not going to go wrong having a player like that in your squad, to be honest. And we have gone wrong with having Eriksen in our squad because he'll never feature. Like, Toby Collier is coming on before him.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's do the comments before we move to our final section. And I need the comments to help me. Mr. B Elite Baller is saying those curtains look nice and soft.
You're not too funny, man.
And there's been a lot of chat about Rabiot. But I think I don't think that's happening. Zubimendi sounds like a dance routine, says Steph. Rabiot would do more for us than Captain Payrise hide in the centre circle. Bruno. Oh, so Elite is not happy with Bruno. You'll fit in here with our comments. I would say 60% of them are not Bruno fans these days. Like, Rajat is saying Zubimendi will 90%, to be honest, get bullied. Zubimendi wasn't bullied by Rice and Bellingham in the final. He did all right. If Rabiot shaves his head, then fair enough. Big G, look at what are you talking about?
Oh, these people, man.
Yeah, I know. Cunha crap, not a top 6 club centre midfielder. Ooh. Neither are ours, to be honest.
I was going to say, who of ours is? Jeez.
Looks like you're in a hotel room, Mr. B.
Oh, thanks.
Rajat obviously has a lot of experience of hotel rooms.
I'm going to say, Rajat.
Elite Baller says he likes making people laugh. Then stick around, because if you ever see Yabba or Monday laugh, it's like, who's your man in The Simpsons? Dr. Hibbert, the doctor. That's exactly what he laughs about, and he won't shut up. He's a comedian's dream.
Dr. Hibbert, fucking hell, half time, man.
Ever seen the movie Samurai Cop? I think I've seen a trailer for it, Andrew, but no. But what I tell you, what I am watching tomorrow, Andrew, is I'm going to watch The Seven Samurai for the second time, which is a Akira Kurosawa film, like Japanese swordsman from like the 1950s. It's one of the best action films you'll ever see. It's incredible. And we're on 14 likes. All right, chat. We've got one for you here. We're in a bad place at the moment, Manchester United, or at least it feels like it. I want from you guys 2 players from the past, preferably the Premier League. Like, if someone wants to be a smart ass and say, like, you know, let's bring back Duncan Edwards or something, you know, it's like, don't be doing that.
we can't deal with that one. Yeah, that's not a conversation that we can talk about.
Yeah, like, I don't want best and law and things like that. So Premier League only. I want the 2 players that you would get in, and I'm just going to correct Simon here. The Magnificent Seven is the Western version of the Seven Samurai. It's based on the Seven Samurai. It's in fact a remake. Steph saying we're up that famous creek without a paddle. I wish it was. Is it Jacob's Creek, the wine? I wish I was up that, but I'm on pre-season, so I can't drink at the moment.
Sorry, what was that? You don't drink during pre-season, so you only drink during the season.
Yeah, like when you're doing pre-season, you can't drink. Like
you drink beer though, don't you?
No, I drink Malibu and Coke like a real man.
Why don't you drink real rum? You telling me you drink Malibu and Coke?
Yeah, I do like rum as well. Like, I like Jack Daniels. I like rum. I like vodka. But like gin and tonic, I sort of drink because it's the most slimline version. But beer's too gassy for me. I don't like ale either. Like, do you know what Camera is? You won't get this in London.
No.
It's the campaign for real ale. And in the countryside, like loads of people with big ginger beards, really old fat blokes, they like rate pubs on if they've got like some particular type of like ale from the Middle Ages or something. And I used to run around like in Corby going, oh, can I have a Malibu and Coke, please? Diet Coke. So you can imagine how that went.
Christ, bath time. Yeah,
all right.
Malibu, wow.
Like it. Right. Mr. B, I'm actually, Richard and Matty, I'm going to start your comments and get back to them. I want to know the first player that you would bring back from the past, Mr. B, for this team and why.
See, it's obvious to say Roy Keane, isn't it? But I'm going to go. I'm
Is
gonna
that
go.
because I told you everyone was going to say Roy Keane?
Yeah, I think it's of it just because of the replacement, but I'm actually gonna say Andy Cole. I'll bring back Andy Cole.
Okay, why?
Movement, finishing, determination. Just for starters, I bring back Andy Cole. I think he would help the team. I'm not sure he could do. Actually, I've said it. I'm not sure he could play. Could he do the lone striker?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, I'm taking Andy Cole.
Andy Cole, in my opinion, I know Mr. B, he's your favourite player. Maybe not the best player, but he's your favourite player, and that's always going to be an issue. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Cole. I think he's one of the best strikers the Premier League has had. Didn't take penalties. He scored all the time. He's right up there with Aguero, Shearer, Henry, and Kane for me. A lot of it is bias because of the memories that he gave us, like with York and stuff. But I'm surprised by that because there's a sort of a forward that we've had who I think would definitely suit this team over Andy Cole.
Go on.
Rooney.
Do you know what? See, because you've only picked two players, Rooney would be like he'll be the perfect, isn't it? He'll play any generation. You put him on the left, right, center, in the hole, because he could do everything as a footballer. It would be Rooney. I just more thought of a position that would maybe benefit the team with what we've got now. But Rooney, right, so I think Rooney walks into it. It's just, it's just a bias.
Over Rude or or Sheringham or York or Hughes.
It's just
or Cantona.
I know. Well, the Cantona one, I wouldn't put Cantona in the team.
Okay.
I'm just not sure. Are we moving him into the team to play in this formation?
Yeah, this formation.
So he would be playing. You'd really be looking as a Bruno. See, I think our team needs a striker going that way.
Right.
And Cantona wasn't necessarily the forward that went that way. That's why I more chose Andy Cole, or I would have gone, or could have gone Van Nistelrooy.
All right. Whilst you have a think about all, because there's a lot to think about. I'm going to go through the comments. I've been told off by Elite Baller for not reading this one out. Bath Time has a very distinctive voice, like the cousin of Chris Tarrant, maybe.
Who's Chris Tarrant?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I think. Or is that Jasper Carrot?
No, yeah, you're right. Chris Tarrant. I know him from Tiswas, isn't it?
What?
Wow, see, Bath Time.
Tiswas, in it?
Tiswas.
I don't speak street. Right, anyway.
Tiswas was the name of the programme.
Yeah, I think I actually have heard of it. Was it like a sort of Saturday morning children's thing? Yeah. All right. First up, Richard Herbert is saying from the past, he's going Scholes and Vidic, which I find very, very interesting because I don't believe it.
No way.
Do you know what? He's seen the question and he's come in. Have you been watching the show, Mr. Forbes?
I've just turned it on. I've been busy.
And you can't resist this subject, can you?
I didn't. I just heard a few things that would have wound up Mr. B and would have wound me up as well. But I hope you don't mind. Carry on.
No, it's okay. So what we're doing, we'll go through the cards. What we're doing is two players from the past, but please, Premier League era, okay, to improve the team. So I don't want to hear about Dennis Law and all that kind of stuff. So Premier League era that you would get in for the team now in the kind of current formation. At the moment, Mr. B is flip-flopping between Cole and Rooney. And we'll go through the comments. I think you'll like this from Matty Bassett. Robson and Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, but Robson... Oh, God, no.
Keane and Robbo, then Bruno can stay and watch what captains are supposed to do. All right. Elite Baller... Roy Carroll and Chris Eagles. Do you know what? They're probably upgrades. Cantona, Interesting one. Scholes and Keane. All right, Andy Cole's good, but not in top 10 Premier League strikers. I do like
Who
this
said
one.
that?
And who do you think, Andrew?
I'm not even guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baileys and lemonade. Hang on. Does that
Is
not
that a drink?
curdle? How can it's lemon and Baileys? That'll curdle.
That wouldn't work.
I mean,
Sure.
I drink Baileys and brandy. I drink and Baileys and Jack
Oh,
Daniels.
yeah, that can work. But I can't imagine lemonade and Baileys.
No
I love
chance.
Baileys. Yeah.
Rooney and Keane, I have to say, that's very close to mine. Rooney, Scholes. All right, Andrew's just a list of strikers better than Thingy. Look, Yabba Dabba Do. Look at this, Andrew. I'm not your secretary. What do you think of do my list? Do yourself, Andrew. No one else is gonna. Right, Mr. Yabba, Mr. Forbes, first player.
Right. So what we need right now, I think everyone's complaining about the midfield. So I would look for a midfielder and someone who's robust, someone who's a great leader, someone who I think is exceptional.
Anderson.
We've had a few players like that. I'm going to go for Brian Robson as well because I think Brian Robson is better than Keane. Obviously, he came to the end of his career when we won our first league title. I think it was in 93. Was it 93? Yeah, we won our first league title. And Robson was part of that. And it was great to see him actually lift the trophy because he deserved it for being a captain marvel throughout the 80s. But he did play in the Premiership. And for me, he's the best midfielder I've seen, for Man United, just above Keane. So I would put Brian Robson in there because he's robust. He can do everything. He's a leader. He carried the team. He can score goals. He can link up play. He can do a bit of everything. We don't have today. We have players who are good at interceptions or good at certain different roles.
Yeah.
No one's complete like Brian Robson. So Brian Robson is a must for me. And the second player's got
No. Not the second one. Not the second. We'll get on to that. I've got a content I'm on there. Unless you're short on time.
No. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But I just want to say, I've given my reason. Brian Robson, trust me. People like Keane and people say Keane was Brian Robson was Captain Marvel. And I know we didn't win trophies in the 80s. He only won 2 FA Cups, whatever. But he was magnificent. The complete player. Gerrard, no. Over Gerrard, over Keane, over all these players. Just the best there is.
For me, I never really saw Robson. Obviously, I know of his legend, but if it wasn't Robson, your next player would be Roy Keane, I would suspect.
For that position.
Yeah, for that position.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I would personally, for me, the first player I'm getting in is Roy Keane. Pretty much for everything that Yabba said about he could do anything, attitude and things. I didn't see Robson, but nothing against Brian Robson coming in. But I think a midfielder is crucial. But Mr. B, you went for a forward. Have you decided and why who your player is?
It's still going to be Andy Cole. I can't. I've tried. Rooney was a more complete player. He could do more, but
your love is Andy Cole.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm trying, but
he'd link up well with Bruno, I think. Like in terms of someone who can sort of attack space and he had all types of finish.
Yeah, that's more what it is. And he used to hit. I mean, I say to my son, if you hit the target, you don't even have to blast it. Just pass the ball in the bloody corner. Pass the goal's not moving. You know what I mean? You get up, you get your head up, you have a look, bang. You just pop them in the corner, bang, bang, both sides. Chips, lobs, volleys, overheads. I mean, oh my, yeah. Look, it's Andy Cole.
Andy Cole.
Yeah.
I'm going to add to that argument from Mr. B. And I mean, because look, we have to put some respect on Andy Cole's name. I saw a little thing, they said speak when a player better than you turns up, and they were showing
they
were showing all these great players. The only one he stopped at, he said Omri, and everyone else from Suarez to all these great Aguero, all these are great strikers. He feels he's better than Ian Wright as well. He said I agree with him. I think it's only Henry is better than him in the Premiership, and I'm including Shearer in that because Andy Cole never took any penalties. Look at his goal.
Yeah.
Right. And when he was in his pomp, he wasn't playing for England, but Man United were playing in Champions League, and no other teams were really playing in Champions League. It was all about Andy Cole in the Champions League, and England just turned their back on him. We weren't very interested in him coming into the side. They were happy to play a Blackburn Rovers Shearer or a Newcastle United Shearer over Andy Cole. Andy Cole doesn't get the respect he deserves. As Mr. B was saying there,
we've kind of done this already.
What he done when he came to Man United,
okay,
you saw the season he had with Beardsley at Newcastle, where he just scored ridiculous amount of goals, 34 in 38 games or something like that, or 42 games, whatever it was back then. And then just blitzed it. When he came to Man United, he still had to develop. And in those days at Man United, players would develop at the club. And his hold-up play improved dramatically, and he became a complete forward. So for me, Andy Cole does deserve the respect. And, people think like Ruud van Nistelrooy, his, contribution and all these other great strikers we had. But Andy Cole definitely needs a shout. So big up to you, Mr. B, for bringing that up.
But you're not.
Yeah, you're not going to put it in.
But who are you picking?
No, we need to see the comments.
No, you can turn my head. Let's go. Yeah, I think it's a great discussion. I think there's loads of great comments.
We did a homily for Andy Cole before you came a month ago, but it's great to have backup. And I'd also just like to add one thing to that, is that the West Ham miss was a big thing for Cole, and there was lots of stuff about Andy Cole needs 5 chances to score. He came back from that and his development showed that he had the mental strength to carry on, and I think that mental strength is a key part of what this team is missing. Certainly, when you look at Bruno basically acting like a child when things go badly.
It's weird. If you look at that era of player at Man United, there was no mentally weak players.
Yeah.
We never had no snowflakes in that squad. That I'm thinking about the Cole, York, that era of players. We never had any snowflakes in our team,
You hear stories about Roy Keane, new players would turn up, and in training he would fizz the ball at you to see what you got. You had, and that would show you from the start. As soon as you walk into that change room or the training ground, you knew the mentality had to be right. And you heard Evra talking about it, seeing all these guys coming in. It was daunting, and you had to be on point.
But you look at that class of '92, you're right, Mr. B. Like Bex now would be a very, very different character to back then. Like David Beckham's mental strength is unreal, and yet he looked like a Ken doll, on the pitch. You'd look at him and think you can get at him. Determination, work rate, what he went through after the World Cup, putting up with the breakup of the Spice Girls, which I found personally very difficult. But anyway, right, Simon Warner. You little so-and-so. He's gone for wingers in Giggsy and Beckham, but he wants Carrick in. Yuck. Cantona. This is Andrew trying to get back in your good books, but we beat Newcastle 1-0 with Cantona scoring on March the 4th. Remember, it was my 18th birthday. That was when we had... That's a great example, once again, of mental strength. That run, Yabba.
Yeah, and we absorbed so much from Newcastle that game. Schmeichel was outstanding, coming out as Ferdinand and I think Shearer up front, and they were just raiding as Ginola. They were fantastic. Remember, they beat us 5-0 around that time as well. So we absorbed so much in that game, showed our mental fortitude, and then obviously Cantona stepped up with a great volley, went to the back post, boom, into the corner, and just a beautiful goal, and we resisted them, and they were an excellent side, a really great side under Keegan.
Okay, and Steph is saying fullback as a position. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you two is not the player, but the position, and then you can give and the reason why. Yeah, bathroom's comment about being a rubbish captain has made my day, Steph. I'm glad to have made your day. Right, so Richard, this is why he's picked Scholesy. Loved the way if he got the ball, great awareness, great passing, box to box, finisher, and he's also gone for a centre back which I find interesting. We'll come back to that. Matty Bassett with some pornography here. Robson, Keane, and Scholes in our midfield now. I mean, Jesus Christ. Owen, all day long. Best fullback United ever had. Very quickly, Yabba, would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I would have to. Look, I mean, the guy scored free kicks, penalties as well. Underrated. Always averaged like a 7.5 in every game. The only time really upset me is when we went to Barcelona and lost 4-0 and Stoichkov made Owen look poor. But you have to give credit. He picked him out from Oldham. I mean, he was playing in an Oldham side to reach the semi-final. And I wouldn't know ballers back then, but I thought, Oldham? Why are we buying players from Oldham? But what a great fullback. Yeah, probably the best we've ever had. Right-footed, left-footed, didn't matter where he's playing, left back or right back. Just pure class all round.
Elite Baller wants us to hit the comments for Accurate Bruno wants, and I love this from Steph. Steph talking about mental strength, players performing. What about a Kung Fu Cantona? Palace away, January 95. I tell you what, the only player in our team who would do that, I think, is Anthony. I can see it in my mind's eye, Anthony doing that. Bath time, I want you to speak about Bruno. We'll probably save that for another show, Elite Baller, as we talk about Bruno all the time. Hughes and Ince, that would be nice.
Simon Warner, wow.
All right, lads. What's the next position you're looking at, and why that position, Mr. B?
See, well, I went forward, so you lot have already got Roy Keane in there, isn't you? So I can't really go for the Roy Keane.
Yeah.
No, well, I'd already chosen the striker position.
Is it midfield as well?
Yeah, it would be midfield. I think we need a midfielder. I'm quite happy with our defenders that we've got in the squad at the moment, so it would definitely be a midfielder. It would definitely be a
goalkeeper.
Midfielder.
Not a winger.
The only winger I'd put in would be Giggs, and I think that
Prime Ronaldo.
Oh,
Kanchelskis?
No, not Kanchelskis. I like Kanchelskis, but he was very one-dimensional. I mean, he's going down the outside of the team now. You know, we're all about inverting. We're all about inverting now. So I'm not sure Kanchelskis gets in. I don't want to go Giggs. Giggs is boring.
Not to his brother, he isn't.
or he's doing. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll keep that one to myself. Yeah, you're right. I'll just agree.
Yeah. All right, but you're going for a midfielder.
Yeah, I think.
To another forward player.
Yeah, we need a midfielder. I think we definitely need that. Well, in what I've gone for, we would definitely need another midfielder.
All right. So would it be more a Keane or a Scholes?
Oh, Scholes, man. I think, yeah, I would have to go for what we need and what I've already picked. It would probably have to be Roy Keane.
Sit beside Kobe. Lovely.
Yes. I mean, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Yeah,
Beautiful.
I would take that. I would take that. All
right, Yabba. I want to know the position and why before you give me the plan.
Initially, I went for a midfielder because I thought that with the midfield we got for years on this channel, ever since this channel was established in 2021, early 2021, it's 3-4 years now. We've always complained in all the shows how many times we've spoken about the midfield. So I think that's covered. We've got Brian Robson in there for what I have anyway. The other position, I think, we're in our current day side. I agree with Mr. B. Our defence centre backs okay. The full backs okay. Luke Shaw and Maz or Dalot, you know, that's good enough. Goalkeeper Schmeichel, they used to say would give you 12 points a season, but I think we'll be all right with the goalkeeper. The more pressing matters, I think we need a better wide man. And the person I'm not going to name yet, but I think I was going to pick a striker, but I thought we've got Xerxes, we've got Haaland.
Yeah.
We haven't seen their potential yet, what they can do. I think there is a
bit
more
service in it
with them. Yeah. So if you supply these guys and we have better wingers, because this is the issue, we're not scoring enough wide. I think we've had so many great wingers over the years, even before the Premiership era. So I think that's the position I would be looking at. And there's so many. There's about 5 I can think off the top of my head. You've already named a few. So that's the position I would go for: a winger who could really set the standard and bring the Old Trafford buzzing again.
Yeah. So you've done all of that, and you haven't said.
No. He wasn't asked to.
Oh, okay. So right,
I'll
cool.
tell you why.
Cool.
Because I'm really confused about the next thing. Like, I sort of think we need one or two things. One that everyone's going to agree with, which is some world-class attacker. So whether it's central or out wide, and I'm leaning towards Rooney because he can do everything. Good attitude and stuff. But I'm also thinking centre back, in particular, Big Yip Yap.
Really?
Because I'm basing this sort of like on a spine, and you saw the difference that Van Dijk came in and made to Liverpool. I remember a lot of the comments that Neville and Keane and everyone made about Maguire, where they were saying like Maguire's a great player and he's not bad, but he doesn't kind of have that aura to communicate and like lead the back line, and you always want your back line to be strong. So really? Like certainly Neville has said it. He said that that Van Dijk is the player that he would take from Liverpool because he thinks Van Dijk can talk players through games. And I'm thinking that maybe one of our best centre backs might be the guy to come in to sort of marshal that defence, get it comfortable playing higher up the pitch. Like, so I'm torn between a difference maker in our box or in their box. I
would go the same way in regards to. I think De Ligt will be. I think De Ligt will be that one. Will be closer to that leader at the back. That's why I didn't go at the back. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Maybe we all love them. When we first signed them, but I just think that we've got that part. That's why I didn't go centre back.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it's the right or the wrong thing.
No. I'm just saying.
That's my thinking, because, like, obviously, if you've got the choice between the best forward in the world or the best defender in the world, you go for the best forward because goals win games. But to benefit the team, if, for example, I would say let's get Rooney in, I think Xerxes and Bruno suffer from that, and hopefully one is going to be a very good player in Xerxes, and Bruno's been the fulcrum of our team for a long time. But if we get a winger in, do they get like the ball enough? Are people putting the chances away? But I know if we get that world-class elite defender like Jaap Stam in, he raises the level of everyone in the back four.
Jaap Stam over Rio?
100% for me, yeah.
Is that because of...
He's Dutch. He's Dutch, so he fits in with the team. But also I think he can organise the players in front of him. I think like he can shout at Kobe and at Ugarte where they need to be, and I think it gives us more stability. So I'm not sure, Yabba. Tell me what you think of that.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because it's not something we would really talk about as centre backs. Me and Mr. B dismissed it. We're thinking about more pressing matters that we consider. But you made a good case talking about centre back, because we've got 4 good guys at the moment. We brought in young Euro. We haven't seen how good he could be. Maybe he's going to be better than Stan. Who knows? Then we've got De Ligt, which Mr. B just said, communicates really well as a leader, captain at Ajax at 18 years old, that sort of thing, and played at big clubs. And then we've got Harry Maguire, who's played at high level internationally, and he's a good defender in my opinion. And then we've got Martinez as well, whereas the jury's a bit out on him now. So maybe there's a slot there. And like you said, you mentioned the spine, which is important for the team, and it would inspire other players, and it would organise the defence as well. So you make some really valid points there, and I can't disagree. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. But I don't mind see people saying something, but if you can back it up and just summarise why you're making a decision like you just did then I just nod to say, okay, that's a good point. But I wouldn't go for a centre back. I think we're covered in that area.
All right, I'm just going to do some comments, and then I want to hear the players, and we'll then finish off by arguing if it's going to be Robson or if it's going to be Keane. Right, Steph keeps bringing this up about the fullback and also with set pieces. I don't think bringing an elite fullback in, world-class fullback like Dennis Irwin, really changes the entire team. For me, I'm thinking if you brought Cafu in, who I think is the best fullback of all time. He gives you a lot, but I don't know if he changes the entire team. Richard is proving that he is Anthony's brother by saying, imagine a midfield of Fred, Anderson and Kleberson. Would you agree that's better than Keane, Robson and Giggs? So we know you've got the brains in the family. I'll tell you an underrated player I like that was abroad in the midfield was Nicky Butt. I quite like Nicky Butt as well. Good character. Like,
it was weird, didn't it? He was the one who, I'm not saying he was the ugly sister of the, the one of
that
the
was
bunch,
Phil.
but he always seemed to be, well, I suppose it was both of them, to be fair. They were the ones who maybe they didn't seek the limelight as much as I don't know, because the team Nicky Butt was
player
top
of the World Cup.
Yeah, he was a really he was a proper player.
I like Nicky Butt a lot. Yabba?
Yeah, I think Nicky Butt, you have to remember, I mean, at the time, he was playing ahead of Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes was on the bench. Nicky Butt was preferred, trusted more at that time. Scholes obviously started as an attacking midfielder or almost a striker. But before Scholes became that centre midfielder, it was Nicky Butt who was playing a lot of games. Don't forget, our midfield in the Champions League final in '99 was Blomqvist, Giggs, Beckham and Nicky Butt in the middle of the park. So he had something about him. He got a few England caps as well. And I just don't think he's overshadowed by the Inces and the Keanes of the world, because of his style of play.
Most people are.
Yeah, but that's not to sort of damn on him. He was a very good player. So Nicky Butt deserves some respect for his name. And you know what I always say about Nicky Butt, if you value him, how much you pay for him in this, how much you give a butt. But we're not going to go there.
All right, that's your joke. Well, Andrew's also saying that was shit. Oh my God, this channel, it's got a different opinion to me. How dare you? Ridiculous. I quite like this. Look, Elite Baller won a VIP ticket to Everton versus Man United. I hope it wasn't the FA Cup final. And he met Kanchelskis in the restaurant. And then Steph met him when they played at Glasgow, when he played for Rangers. Amazing. Wow. Big G, he hasn't met anyone, but he wants to get rid of Martinez.
Is it?
I agree with him. I'd get rid of Anana, Martinez, Anthony, and I think the next manager will. But anyway, we've all been waiting, Yabba, with bated breath for who your player is. And I'm a bit scared, but tell me, who is it?
Well, I've been thinking about it, and there's two players on my mind. I said wide guys, someone to give us a bit extra in the wide areas. And there's obviously the two players I've selected that brought it down to is Ryan Giggs, who obviously for things that happened off the field, he doesn't get respect on his name. He was, he's played from age 17 all the way to 37 in a top level, just his position. Go look at highlights of him running at defenders age 17, 18, 19, 20. He was awesome. Look at the game against Inter in the Champions League where he just ran them ragged. Couldn't be stopped. He was world class. Even Alex Ferguson said he can only name he had about, I think he said 4 or 5 world class players that he's ever managed, and Ryan Giggs was one of them. So don't forget that. So Giggs has to be considered, but I think, like Mr. B said, he was a bit boring. But when you look at the longevity, yeah, that's great. But when he was at his best, I was still a bit frustrated by him because sometimes his delivery, his shooting, was a bit weak, in my opinion. So it's not going to be Ryan Giggs for me. The player I'm going to put in, I've got Brian Robson in midfield, and the player I'm going to put in as a wide player who's a bit versatile as well, who's going to give you assists, who's going to give you quality as well, free kicks. I'm going to talk about. I have to go with David Beckham.
Okay.
Now, let me just go back. We were asking the question, what do we need today? And I think Brian Robson, Shaw's at the midfield. Forget about it. He just runs things. But put Beckham in the side today, you raise the bar with quality, with work rate. He wasn't the quickest, but he would get us playing good football. That's the thing with Beckham. He played great football because he knew he couldn't burst the man for pace. He would get a yard, whipping a nice ball in the corridor of uncertainty, and people will be scoring more goals. And I think it just overall, when I look at his career, I think he had great ability. First of all, don't forget that. Technically, one of the best players England ever had. And also he had determination and drive, and he loved the club. So I think putting David Beckham and Ryan Robson into this team that we have today, would give us the quality, aggression, leadership, and overall we would get more goals. And Brian Robson would ensure as well that the tenacity, because we've always talked about our physicality, our tenacity would improve as well. So for me, it might sound strange, but remember, it's based on what would improve today's side. It would be Brian Robson and David Beckham.
Where's Beck's playing?
Oh, it doesn't matter. He could play.
I know. But right. Where's he playing?
You could play him on the right. So because
instead of Ahmad.
Yeah. Or Ahmad. Yeah. I think you can play him on the right, and then you got Garnacho on the left. I think that's strong enough.
Mr. B, what are you thinking? It's Giggs and
it's Giggs and Cole. It's Giggs and Cole for me.
Cole.
Yeah.
All right. For me, I've once again flip-flop because we've got so many players. I think it's got to be Keane and Rooney.
Good one.
Yeah, like I'm very, very happy to sort of submit and say Robson, because Keane and Robson are essentially the same thing. They're going to be the same thing in this team.
Just different generations.
Grit, standards, like a beautiful partner for Kobe Mainu. Like, they're not going to let players get away with the nonsense that we get away with. Like, I know that what Keane would have done to Rashford after Rashford gave an interview where he talks about the problems of getting two buses. I mean, come on. Like, that's ridiculous. Keane would be...
Get two buses to school. I used to get two buses to school.
Everyone has taken more than two buses. Just absolutely ridiculous. 2 buses. It didn't have a pull-down set. Like, there was chewing gum on the seat. It was awful. I mean, shut up. Anyway, the second one is Rooney, because I think that Rooney is the most versatile, world-class player that we've had, that can play left, right, central, contributes in the box, out of the box, and he's got the work rate, the determination, the strength, like the aggression, everything that we're looking for. But I would love to put Yapstam in there to shore that defence up. But I think we want to see stuff on the pitch, and Rooney was box office.
So just going back, so I know people always throw around world class, but your two, Mr. B, who's world class out of your picks?
A lot of people aren't going to say Andy Cole, but I would say Ryan Giggs is 100%.
What do you think about Andy Cole? Do you think he's world class at his best?
I just, there's probably better strikers at the club who have played at our club. It's just my personal preference. I can't choose it. I just won't choose anybody over Andy Cole. It's just what it is. Rooney, I mean, to be fair, I think Bath Time's picks are the two that caused that help our team to take our team to the next level. I've got a winger, which still means we've still got Casemiro in the centre of the park.
Yeah. And the one that's got David Beckham, who doesn't have a position.
He's going to be playing at inverted right back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, to be fair, Bath Time, I think you have got the best two that would help our team. But as I said, preference.
Sentimental reasons.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, I mean, if I could, I'd bring like McFred back or like Welbeck and McTominay.
What did you put on X? And then as the show finishes, you've just mentioned their name.
I said that anyone who brought up McFred as the two players to bring back would get banned. So this is my last show with the Manchester United agenda. It's been a whale of a time. But yes, I'm also happy, by the way, that like I can give up Keane for Robson without any issues. It's just I've never really seen Robson play, and I wouldn't have minded to get Schmeichel or someone back in, but I think a centre back helps the team more than a goalkeeper at the moment, just from organising the midfield mainly. All right. Are we finished for this evening, gentlemen?
We are.
Yeah. Big up to Elite Baller. I haven't seen Elite Baller before, but he's making some good comments as well. And I'm just interested because what has been the general consensus in the comments about the play? Rooney's
that
been
we're mad. Our choices are bullshit by all accounts.
Well, There's been a lot. To be fair, there's Erwin has come up an awful lot from the comments. Scholes has come up an awful lot. And obviously these are two legends of the football club. But I think that we need a sort of a more all-rounded box-to-box defensive midfielder than Scholesy, but you'd take him in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? And Simon's brought up Carrick a few times, but that's kind of been the most of it. I mean, like at the moment, this is what is going on. They're talking about like star signs. Steph's gone for Erwin and Robson, but and Big G is now comparing Bruno to Splinter from the Ninja Turtles.
Wow,
which is a bit of an odd one, but he does live in a sewer full of rats. So anyway, I think we're going to end it there.
Do you know who does the voice for Splinter in Ninja Turtles?
Ed Wood, because of splinters and wood. That's the best I can do. I'm sorry.
Mr. B, do you know who does the voice for Splinter?
I can't remember what he sounds like. Go on.
I just want to double check. I think it's Uncle Phil from Bel Air.
No way.
I think so. You won't believe it, but let me just clarify. Let me just make
look at this, double A.
All right. Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? I was today years old when I first found out. But yeah, Uncle Phil. I mean,
Uncle Phil.
Yeah, can you remember Splinter's voice?
No.
What? No, I can't remember. And you know what? And because I can't remember it now, when I finish, I'm actually gonna go and get a clip up and see. Oh shit!
Well, surely he puts a Japanese voice on or an accent or something. Like,
didn't he speak?
Splinter was the fox, was the wolf,
the rat.
No, he was the rat.
sensei guy, innit?
Yeah, but he was a man, and he got touched by the ooze and turned into a man rat. The turtles were the other way around. They were turtles that were touched by men and turned into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And that's the thing. I used to just watch it. I don't know any of this backstory to it. I just used to watch it.
It's tremendously depressing. Like it's about a man who got turned into a rat who lives in the sewer with some turtles as his mates fighting crime. Like proper 80s, 90s depression cartoon.
You're as bad as your brother, mate. Don't let your brother ask your brother what I said to him yesterday on the show.
Yeah, can I just say congratulations, Mr. B. You went to Face the Music alone. So one man gang. The one man gang. He went on to Cop Talks TV with his brother and Alvin and Fred and was getting a lot of heat. I just happened to turn it on and thought, Mr. B, are you crazy? Is that really you? But you made them laugh. I mean, it was a great show, and fair play to Mr. B. I mean, we got it's give and take, isn't it? So
you have. I said, look, if you, I like to give it. So and I goes over my head. You sit down there. If I was only on there for half an hour, maybe I left it when I left you yesterday, bath time. When I left the show yesterday, I jumped on. So yeah, it was good. I was in a good mood after I left you bath time, so it was all right. It was good to go. It was all right.
I don't know if that's a compliment or a diss. And on that bombshell, like Yabba, is there anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah, just hope everyone has a great weekend. Obviously, there's no football on, but obviously lots of sports going on still. I don't know if F1's back this week. Great Monza Grand Prix last week, but there's boxing coming up the next couple of weeks as well. With Anthony Joshua and Dubois.
When's that?
That's on the 21st, I think.
That's lovely. Payday. Ooh,
is that in the UK?
It's on
at Wembley. It's at Wembley, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Saudi, yeah.
Nice.
Saudi bill. NFL says Andrew this week as well, and athletics has just finished. There's one more event with the.
But ain't the Olympics finished?
Yeah, that's finished, but they have the Diamond League, and that's.
I don't know about all of that.
So lots of sport to watch. I mean, because when football's off, I mean, we do turn to other sports. What's your second sport for viewing, Mr. B, in bath time? What other sports?
Don't have one.
I don't have one.
Sport. Okay.
I do boxing and UFC, but I watch that when football's on anyway. So
yeah, I'm just a football man. Right, everyone, remember we're on the road to 1 million subs. So please like and subscribe, and put your notifications on. I think, why not? and we will be back at some point. Probably
we will
on
be back.
Monday.
We'll be back on Monday, unless there's some major breaking news over the weekend, which touch wood they won't be. I just want to rest. Want to rest. I want a 48-hour break, and we come back nice and refreshed on Monday, 9 o'clock, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good
Like
night,
a
guys.
notch.
Like a notch.